Yeah, I think about selling it. So all the rumors that everybody has heard, like Lou wants to sell Brillo. Yeah, I have wanted to sell it 9,000 times, but I won't. So yeah, I'm stuck.
Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome. Please feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda in the fridge. Cheers, my friend.
Yeah, cheers to you, man.
Yes. So I'm sitting here today, my buddy Lou. How's it going, man? How you doing?
It's going.
How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling as good as I can for January, whatever the hell it is, 9th, 10th.
Hell yeah. So for those
Wow, this is high tech, bro. I am impressed.
So for those of you out there that don't know Lou, I know Lou through a place called brillobox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good old Brillo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what's the deal with that? What's your deal with brillobox? I know it's probably a complicated question to ask these days.
Yeah, man. I ask myself that question every fucking morning. Is it all right if I say swear?
No, you can fucking swear. You're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Good, because I'm going to say a lot of them. I'll tell you a story about, that later on.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Brillo going into year 15.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of catches me off guard every once in a while. I don't really look at it in years as much as I look at it in experience and wildness that has happened there. But yeah, it keeps me going every day.
Cool.
I wake up, try to find a way to do it, and every day so far I've seemed to find one.
So before Brillo started, what were you doing?
What was I doing? I was a industrial and government sales rep for Snap-on Tools.
Okay.
Yeah, I sold tools. Oh man,
This seems
This
seems so not you.
No, it never was. That was the problem. For 10 years before. I did that shit for 10 years, and I had.
How did you get into that? Let's just keep going back.
Yeah, let's keep going. How did I get into that? I was out of school. My dad had a friend who ended up becoming my boss there, my old boss, Doug Leprando, and was golfing one day, and they were golfing one day, and kind of got me a lead into that. And yeah, I should have never done that. I had no business ever being in
Is it just
job.
like an opportunity and like an okay paycheck?
Yeah, that's
that
exactly
sort of thing?
what it was. I mean, I was,
Well, what else were you doing at the time though? Like, just bullshitting?
Yeah, at the time, I mean, I was out of school and playing in a little band with my hometown buddy Shane. And
where's hometown?
Greensburg.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was living in Oakland at the time and then moved into Polish Hill, which brought me down here. That was probably the mid 90s. But that job, I stuck it out I had no business doing that shit, man. It was so intense.
Intense how?
What was crazy is, I started, 98, I started at that job. So what was crazy about that job is like, I dealt with these army bases and military. Yeah, it was fucking
nuts.
Fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Especially 2001, like 9/11.
Sure.
And like my job completely changed. I went from like going to schools and larger corporations and trying to sell them fucking tools. And I didn't know anything about tools. I still don't know anything about tools. It was absurd. But then 9/11 happened and our business became like aimed directly at the military and doing military. Yeah.
Okay.
United Defense, United Defense. And, they're a contractor.
That's crazy. But I guess somebody's buying the stuff from someone.
Dude, I mean, it was really hard for me to bite my tongue back then. And, I was making money off of the war. I would go into United Defense 3 days a week, all day. And they would refurb tanks that were blown out in Iraq, tanks that were Iraq's tanks blown out. And some of the crazy shit that I saw there, and it was a different time in my life. And I don't look back on those times very much. And when I do, not with a whole lot of good memories.
Sure.
But it made me a little bit of who I am today. So I don't know if I totally regret it, but it was something I shouldn't have been doing.
Well, eventually you stopped doing it.
Yeah, true.
So that chapter came to a close at some point.
Right.
And what did Brillo have to do, if anything, with the ending of that?
So what was going on with Brillo is, I mean, my sister and my brother-in-law were living in New York. They were looking to move back to Pittsburgh to be closer to family. His family bought what is Brillo now. It was a bar called Zudi's.
Brillo Box for
Brillo
any of the noobs out there. We can make that clear. Brillo Box.
Yeah.
The club, venue, bar, restaurant.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I apologize.
Just make that clear.
Right on.
Cool.
They bought that as kind of a Children's Hospital had just broke ground. They were making the flip. The idea was to hold on to the bar for a couple years till those two could find out what they want to do with their life, sell the bar, and then basically just to buy time and an investment, The bar took off a little bit, but neither one of them are bar people. So I agreed to help them out. At the time, I was still selling tools. I started just working the door for them and, giving them some ideas because I, on the other hand, spent a lot of time in bars.
Yeah, sure. And you had, background playing and stuff.
Yeah,
so
right on. And, but, those two are, my sister and brother-in-law are two very, very smart, art-based people. So I just kind of helped them out, and before you know it, there I was, and eventually bought it off of them, So, it's been a wild ride, man. A wild ride. But, I love it.
Yeah, I imagine there was a lot that I'm sure you weren't expecting that you were going to be getting into obtaining a business.
Yeah.
And over the years, so much just in the past decade, everything has changed, I feel. Just
God, man.
Like ways that you promote business, how expensive things are, how cheap some other things are. People like beer now. There's all these weird little nuance changes.
It changes.
Bands don't exist anymore. It's all DJs.
You're not shitting, dude. You're not shitting. It used to be the opposite, right? We used to get these emails from bands on the road and oh my God, this band from Austin wants to play. Hell yeah. This band from Salt Lake City wants to play. And we'd just book anything. And people would come just because it was different then. But, just like anything else, anything that gets cool gets ruined. You get too many venues. And then all of a sudden, it's a battle to book, and the city is still small, man.
Yeah.
I think.
It's dense. There's a lot going on. It's not on a geographical, if that's not the right word, but it's a small city, but there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
It seems like there's more going on here and other places where I go.
Yeah.
Just because there's some bigger cities that we play that are objectively bigger than Pittsburgh.
Right.
Like a Philly. I think Philly's probably a bigger city than Pittsburgh.
Sure.
But I feel like they don't have half the shit that we do. But that could also just be my personal experience.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be, little nooks in, the
little dive spots and the hidden things that you don't know about unless you live there for sure.
The thing that I think that I have noticed is, I mean, everyone kind of gets, whether they do it themselves or we do it as a quote scene or whatever it is, kind of pigeonhole things a little bit. And certain people won't go to certain spots, certain bands won't play certain venues won't have certain bands,
Oh, yeah.
And shame. Yeah, I think it's a shame, but at the end of the day, we all got to find a way to keep it going. And
yeah, I think it's a lot of bands aren't willing to step outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah,
a lot of promoters aren't willing to.
True.
A big part of it, especially when you're dealing with music, it's all promoters.
Man.
They don't.
I don't deal with them.
Whether they intend to be gatekeepers or not,
right?
They all are, whether they care to admit it or not.
Right.
So it's the shows don't exist without them. And there's so many promoters that will only work with the same 4 or 5 bands because they're reliable or because they're easy to rip off.
That's
one of the
amen.
two. It's one of the two,
right? And I always say there's 3 components to a show. It's bands, it's the venue, and it's the promoter. There's 3, and you're only going to make 2 of them happy. Someone's getting fucked.
Sure.
Every time. And what I have tried to do is eliminate the promoter and just deal with individuals. Promoters have done some really good things for brillobox. There's no doubt about it. But I have a real hard time. What has happened, in my opinion, is so many venues have popped up and so many different options. I'm not sure the bar or the band's best interests were getting taken care of.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You're working with if you're working with a bigger promoter in the city, it's nobody gives a fuck about the venue or the promoters. It's just is this out of town band that nobody gives a fuck about getting their guarantee?
Yeah.
That's all anybody's concerned about.
I used to call them back scratcher shows. I don't care. I mean, I'll talk some shit and I'm at the point now that I don't deal with them anyhow. So if they don't come to me, it doesn't matter. But we used to have Opus One. Opus One used to do a lot of shows at our place, and we would get those back scratcher shows. In other words, maybe they would book, looking back, and God, this is years and years ago. Maybe they would get a big show from a promoter that they could do at Stage AE or wherever. But if you're going to do that show, you got to take this list too.
Yep.
So what they would do is send those shows to a Tuesday night at Brillo, and I got to deal with a angry ass bartender. I got to find a way to pay the door guy. I got to pay the person upstairs taking the money. And then what they would do is they send you, you'd get a good show every 3 months. Oh yeah, we had done, here you go. Here's the backup singer from Arcade Fire. He's going to play at your bar tonight. And, be like, oh, great. 150 people came on a Thursday night. Fantastic. But boy, oh boy, I could tell you some horror stories that have happened through the promoter, having the band's back because they have to, and the venue, getting screwed over pretty good. One night, I was bartending, and a guy in the kitchen comes out and is like, "Lou, your car's covered in paint." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your car is covered in paint." So I go out, and we had given the band the green room, which is on the 3rd floor. And they were digging around in the closets and found a bunch of acrylic paint of my sister's. And they threw it out the 3rd floor window and just coated my car in paint. Yeah, I was fucking furious, man. And they blamed it on a girl that was upstairs that was kind of local. And the more that kind of came out in the mix is she didn't even have anything to do with it. But yeah, there's been some nightmares, but not all of them.
Yeah,
still good stuff too.
But as they say, it only takes one bad egg.
Oh God, right? God.
So it sucks because as you get older and you have these experiences, it's not even an age thing; it's just an experience thing.
Yeah,
it's like I already deal with so much shit, and you start like. I feel like being in the position that you're in, and even the position I am in, it's like I deal with so much bullshit on a week-to-week basis that it's so hard for me to trust anybody anymore.
Oh man, you caught me on the right day.
And it's
brother.
it's like I don't even care. Like it could be somebody that I've had a good relationship with for years. It's still to a point I don't trust you.
Yeah, well,
because every time somebody fucks you over when you weren't expecting it, it's always I never would have expected that. Of course, so
yeah,
but you never know.
Those are the ones that get you the quickest.
Yeah, you never fucking know,
and they hurt the most, man.
Yeah,
they really do. I just had it happen today. I shouldn't talk about this, but like I said, I don't give two fucks. I have my kitchen. I've had to go back into my kitchen. I made a poor business decision back in May. Brought in a new chef. It didn't work out. Long story short, good food, super talented guy. I just was selling the wrong product to the folks that come into Brillo. Anyhow, to cure that, I've been working every single day in the kitchen for the last 5 months. I mean, every day, no days off, not even Mondays when we're closed. So I get one night off, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, fuck, I haven't been to jiu-jitsu. I'm going. That's it. So I get to jiu-jitsu. I'm leaving. I'm like, shit, I don't have my wallet. And I'm thinking back and was like, oh, I left it on the shelf at the bar. Excuse me. So I go back unannounced, and the kid working with me is fucking drinking a beer while he's working. And I was like, dude, we're training a new guy. You're not allowed to drink beer. Don't do it. Like we're pretty relaxed with our employees after work. Do whatever the hell you want. Have a couple beers.
Sure. It's it's one thing about being cool, but it's still fucking work.
But man, yeah, I was out of
if the wrong person would walk back there.
That's what I said. I'm due for a health inspection. And if they walk back, you're drinking a beer, making a hamburger, I'm fucked. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucked. But, I'm starting to learn, and it's taken me a long time to learn. And like you said, it's the experience, not the years. But I'm learning that sometimes it's okay not to get super close, I love those people. I mean, I've been with those people. Brian, who just left, we have been there together we're together to this last 2 months back for 15 years, since day one. Katie Duty that works there, I mean, she's going on 10 years. Mo, she's been there at least 6, maybe 7. So these are people that are family to me.
Yeah.
And are very good. So that's really hard to, all of a sudden be like, oh, okay, Lou, step back. But Yeah, it's tough. You're definitely right. Man, especially bringing in new people off the street, man, I'm lucky if I can get them to show up sometimes.
Sure.
You know?
That's the thing that like honestly scares me. This is like some of my first like old man moments I've had in my life.
Yeah.
Now as I enter my mid 30s, I'm like really, really concerned for the work ethic that people a generation beneath me have.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound, I feel it sounds so curmudgeon-y.
Mannish. Yeah, but
like it just seems like
it's
nobody wants to do these jobs. Anytime I go to a place and I see a young kid serving, I'm like surprised. I'm like, oh my, you don't want to be a fucking Instagram influencer? Like you actually want to have a job? This blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I've been in the kitchen for 5 months, I haven't been able to find anybody, and it's not. I am willing to pay. Yeah, you know, I mean,
it blows my mind. Like, okay, like it's a decent kitchen job in the middle of the fucking city.
Easy. My wife's been doing it with me the last couple of weeks. She said to me the other night, she's like, you know what? The money's good, and it's easy. I mean, she's a florist. Last thing she wants to be doing is like working a fryer and, you know, dropping chicken wings.
It's all the attitude you put into it.
Yeah, totally. But we have a nice time back there. Everyone laughs and jokes, but yeah, it's rough, man. Right?
I mean, nothing's easy. I think that's the one thing that
shouldn't be.
Everybody needs to get over real quick. It's like, you know, it's like nothing's going to be easy.
Right? Nothing at all.
Adjust. Get used to things not being easy. And in the long term, your life will actually be a lot easier.
Yeah, man. Accept defeat right off the bat.
Sure. I mean, that's a more aggressive way of saying it.
That's, you know, every once in a while, I have to just realize that, like, yeah, fucking brillobox got me by the dick, man. And that's just how it is. It's the life I choose for not like waking up and having to call my boss at 7 a.m. to, you know, kiss his ass.
Sure, you just have to kiss your own ass in your head.
Right.
Every morning.
You know, well, now I kiss like 30 asses. I kiss 30 employees' asses to get them to work and, you know, get that shit going. But yeah, fuck it, man.
It's a lot to manage.
Right?
I can't even imagine. Yeah, honestly.
It's wild. Yeah, you know, since the kitchen always I stayed away from simply because I always thought the people back there were capable, and they always have been capable of taking care of business. So like me going back there 5 months ago, and so first I used to work in a pizza kitchen back when I was in high school. So it had been 37 years since I'd worked in the kitchen.
Sure.
And
but do you like cook food at home and shit? Like
no.
Okay.
Fuck so no. No, I don't. When I'm home, man, I don't fucking do any. My wife will totally fucking agree with it. I don't do shit.
Fair enough.
Nothing. You know, when I had more time, I would. But man, if I can throw around some paint or, you know, get to jiu-jitsu, I'm fucking happy.
Yeah, let's dig into the loo outside of brillobox.
Yeah, let's.
If you need, you're still good on that. But if you need another one, let me know. Don't hesitate to ask. I can get up and get one.
Awesome.
This isn't a big fucking deal. Everybody will be patient. They can
big deal to me.
They can wait for the drink. So loo outside of brillobox. I do know. I know you do the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right on.
And I know that you do art and painting.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the stuff that you had upstairs at Brillo.
Right on.
I remember you showing it to me before.
Cool.
And let's dig into that a bit.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the painting.
Yeah.
What's up with that? How long have you been doing the art stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 10 to 15 years, somewhere in there.
So around the same time Brillo started?
Yeah, started as a joke. You know, my sister's like a incredible artist to the point that her not making more art is criminal. But like I would spend a lot of time with them back then. And as the bar was growing and we were all dealing with the growth of the bar. So I just started painting with her on off nights, and I really, really just sunk into it, man. I love doing it. I don't do it as much as I should anymore, but there was a time, man. Oh God, that's all I was doing. But it's great. Drink a couple beers and smoke a little weed and fucking paint Bigfoot and
hell yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I will get back to that.
But it was always just like a personal creative relief.
Yeah,
it was never like I want to be an artist to be an artist. It's just like I just want to fucking paint shit.
Man, yeah. Just it's odd. Like people would always ask me, "Are you selling your stuff? God, you got to sell your stuff. You got to make prints." Like I was like, no, I just make it for me, man.
Yeah. If you start doing that, it's not going to be for you anymore.
It's not. And it would, then next thing you know, I'm, taking requests on like, what color do you think this should be? What do you want? Fuck all that.
And then it's not your art anymore.
No, it's not mine. I don't want to. Yeah. But I get back to that. I did a little painting this past summer, and that's the last time I did, because it was the last time I had time. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to have some time free here coming soon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I always think about the independent musician.
Yeah.
And while I think that it's awesome for any musician or visual artist or whatever to be able to make money off of your work,
right?
I feel like if you're on like a really small level and you try to focus on that, like make all your money off of your music, I think it ultimately ends up ruining the work, because like you're changing the reason why you're making the art to begin with.
That's an interesting, I
feel like the people that I know that have like full-time jobs and then have to like get up extra early to work on music or record stuff, or have to, not sleep to play a show, that type of shit, they all probably make so much better art than the people I know that don't do anything all the time because they're artists.
Right.
And then all the music that they're making just sounds like desperate pleas for money in some way. It's strange.
One of the first years back, very popular band at that time. And they were so commercially aimed. And I was...
What band?
Denora.
Oh, okay.
You remember Denora?
Yeah.
Yeah. And... and I was talking to Jake one night, the drummer, Jake Hanner, and I was talking to him and after a show, and he's like, we just released a single that we made for a car commercial. And that was the first time I was like, I was really blown away, and I realized that, there's another game that other artists play, and that was, the commercial game to sell.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first time that I had really been like, whoa, for a car commercial. Nothing against them or what they do, that product. But I remember the first time saying, okay, selling out isn't what it used to be and doesn't mean what it used to be.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Right? Like, I grew up in a time where, like, if someone said you sold out, I mean, that was like spitting in your face. Right? And it just didn't seem to be that big of a deal anymore.
Well, no, I don't think it is a big deal, because now everybody is a business. Everybody has an Instagram account, and everybody has their own thing.
Right.
So it's cool, because it's good, I think, for independent artists to be a little bit more business minded.
Sure.
But it can go too far real fucking quick.
Yeah.
If you just you start getting distracted with things that ultimately don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're in a band and you make good music, if it's legitimately good, it connects with the people, it'll spread.
Yeah.
But if you're making music that's kind of bullshit and you're trying to play this game of finding out the internet algorithms and strategically posting things and trying to trick people into listening to your stuff, it's like your shit's not that good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, man. When every morning I wake up, first thing I do is turn on my computer and start reading brillobox emails, and all for booking. And like before the links to the music, there's always, 27,000 listens.
I knew you were going to say, yep.
8,000 Instagram followers. I'm like, oh,
who cares?
Right. I'm like, oh shit, man.
I get the same thing with people that my contact info has to be on a list somewhere, and people think that like I'm like a website and I like review albums or something. It's like not what I do.
Right.
But I get EPKs from bands all over the place all the time now, and it's the same thing. It's just like band that you've never heard of has garnered 1.5 million streams on Spotify. It's like, I don't give a fuck if 2 people have listened to this.
Yeah.
Just tell me who you are and I will check it out. And if I like it, I like it.
Yeah, totally.
I don't care how. It's like one of those things. Like, did anybody ever see the like over 1 million served at McDonald's and feel a little bit hungrier? They want to go there a little bit. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's never mattered.
No, it's just how it is. And the booking, like what has been like rubbing me the wrong way lately is like, if I get a obvious mass generated booking inquiry, right, where it just basically fills in brillobox and target dates, and I don't respond to it. So I'm like, okay, I can tell this is going to 15 other venues in the city.
It's more trouble than it's worth,
right? So I for about 2 weeks I quit answering them, and then you get the follow back, like following up on this. So the other day I typed back, I'm sorry, dude, show or date is NA. That's all I wrote. So I finally get a personal one back. It says, do you mean show is NA is in like nah, surfer dude from California, nah? I said, no, I mean NA is in not available. Like, I answer 25 of these a day and I'm sick of writing not available. So I just
show is nah.
Yeah. Shows.
Who says that?
Right. He was just fucking with me, and I get it. But I was like, man, I'm sorry. I honest to God, I answer every single booking inquiry, every single one. I spend the first hour or 2 of my day just, sorry, man. Yeah, let's try it. What else do you have in mind? Do you have any other dates? I feel that, being honest with those folks is a better look than just my brother-in-law. Never. I used to be with him. He'd just mow through them like, fuck, no. But we do the best we can. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, it's doing the best you can. That's all anybody can do. And anything. This is a good segue into your adventures in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So
I get my ass kicked.
How's that been?
Day.
How's that been mentally and physically and spiritually?
Those are all, man. Those are all like really awesome questions, and they're dead on. It's the most important thing, and has made the most positive changes in my life. Being without it for the last 5 months, I have really noticed the other side. I used to talk about how great it was to have it, and I'm no good at it, man. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm like, I'm still in the very beginning stages. I'm like a year and a half in, and like I get beat up every day, and but there's something to that. There's something to the reality of it. I always, Jake Miklo, who is the owner of True Believer where I go, he, I think I annoy him. Like, I'm always trying to find like the religion in it, right? And I always am like, dude, like, so like what it is like it's just you, and you're finding out about yourself, and you're finding about your constant weaknesses, and doing the best you can do to get through that 6 minutes. He's like, nah, dude, nah, that's not it. And I'm like, man, but put it this way, when I'm doing it, I'm a better human being than when I'm not doing it. When I'm not doing it, emotionally, I'm a wreck. Physically, I am different, feel different. Mentally, I'm very a weaker person without it. So these last couple months, like, I knew what it gave me, and now I know what I don't have. And it's wild
that you don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Yeah. To quote,
was that Cinderella?
Yeah, it was Cinderella. I saw him on tour with Bon Jovi in
Hell yeah.
88.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, or fucking A.
Sounds slippery.
Yeah, slippery and wet. One wet tour, Night Songs tour, big show. But yeah, man, I love it, and I'm looking forward next couple weeks to getting back in the groove a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for me. It is. And I can't say enough good things about it, and I always do. I probably talk about it too much, but it's the best. No
It's
doubt.
cool. It seems like you're almost approaching it in the same way that you approached painting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't even know if like being good at it is necessarily a goal of yours. It's just the practice of doing it.
Yeah, and that goes back to like me looking for like the quote religion in it. Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing. The frustrating thing is that there are goals, and belts, and I want to say I don't care about them. And Jake always is telling me, don't care about promotions, don't care, just work hard, but you do, right? Like,
I don't think it's a matter of that you should or shouldn't care. I think it's the reasons why you care.
Very good.
Yeah, totally. Is it a thing because like you feel the need to accomplish something to say you did, like you're almost like collecting a better social status? Or is it, do you want to achieve these things because it's a receipt of hard work? It's like a evidence of,
right.
It's like a milestone in your life versus like a trophy.
Yeah. I wish I honestly thought more like that, and it doesn't matter. He's right. It doesn't. Like, it matters that I feel good when I leave. It matters that it controls my temper.
Yeah.
Certain situations, which I had a horrible problem with for the first 46 and a half years of my life. Horrible. And the other day it showed itself again, and my wife is like, you need to get your ass back to the gym. And she's right. But I lost my temper behind the bar, and it was fine. It was over in 2 seconds. But yeah, it sucks because I had been in total control of that for over a year and a half.
You're still only human.
Yes, true.
So
right.
At least you're not a robot.
Yes.
Be thankful for that.
That is true.
Yes. I don't feel like emotions are a thing to be like ashamed of. Shit happens.
Yeah, it does.
I think what's really important is just not like what happened, but how you react and how you follow through.
Yeah.
Like, if you're able to be self-aware and realize, well, I fucked up, and then just
boy, isn't that a crazy question to ask yourself? Like, or even realization of being like, man, I fucked up bad.
Oh yeah. I mean,
fucked up bad.
anytime anytime that like there's a situation happening between you and another individual, you should always ask yourself first, like, what did I do?
Yeah, I do.
For this to happen.
I know you do too.
Yeah. It's like, what did I do? What am I responsible for here before I go off?
The work I put in at home when I go home after, work and like, man, did I say the right thing? Did I deal with that the right way? Like, and it's hard, man. I'm in the fucking circus clown business. Everyone I deal with is fucking drunk.
Well, I mean, it's
right. It's like shit, man. And some of the like looking back over the years, some of the things that have happened at that bar and that have taken its toll on me the most probably weren't remembered by that person the next day,
Oh, that's fucking shit you to think about. But I
just lay in bed and like, oh man, this one time these two twin girls came in and it was early, Saturday night, maybe 6:00. They came in for dinner and they ordered drinks and I carded them both. And I just didn't know what day it was. And it was their 21st birthday, twins. And I was like, you guys have to leave. We can't serve you guys. And she's like, why? What's the problem? And I was 2 days off on the date. Long story short, they were super upset. And my wife went over to the table. And it's like, Lou, they just turned 21 today. And I was so beat up by that, man.
That's just like embarrassing, right?
It was embarrassing. And like, I was shitty to those two girls. And I went out in my car. This is no lie. And sat in my car and bawled my brains out for a half hour. I was so upset. I went back in. They were still there. I sat down with them. I must have apologized to them for fucking 20 minutes. And, it's odd. It's because it's not a very human, arena, a bar. It's people's emotions and everything is fucking out of whack. And it's a hard place, to do philosophical work, man. It really is. And at the same time, very easy.
Well, yeah, because sometimes there's a lot of transparency and openness because of the liquid things being exchanged.
The old booze.
Yeah. Get you going, yeah.
Yeah. So it's wild to make a living doing it or try to make a living doing it. Yes. It's an odd job.
Yeah, that's something that I was curious to pick your brain about in terms of just being a business owner as long as you have been.
Yeah.
If I told you like, hey, I'm thinking of opening up a venue.
Yeah.
Would there be like the first thing that you would say to me? If I just said like, hey, Lou, I'm thinking of opening a venue. What do you think? Do you have any advice for me?
Where's your venue?
I mean, this is all hypothetical.
Right.
So I need to think. Okay. So now I need to think of a hypothetical.
So if you said Pittsburgh, I'd say the scene is watered down here. And you can start to see new venues that are popping up in the struggle, like the instant struggle. The place in the South Side that opened up maybe 2 years ago.
What the one that closed and changed hands? The stage at Karma.
The stage at Karma at the whatever the fuck it was. Like I remember thinking, and I know some inside stuff that like poor James Street, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their thing was that.
Yeah, Kevin, he's been on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, man, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but they just got sick of doing it. There's no money in it. There's none. Yeah.
It's one thing. I think the lack of funding and that being outweighed by the amount of idiots just trying to take advantage of you and leech off you.
Like fucking Peduto wants to do that downtown thing. And I'm like, all these little venues that have put in such fucking hard work, man, and like find a way to do it every day. It's like it has to happen organically. It has to.
That and like that type of shit, like the stuff that they want to do, it's helping bands that don't have a problem getting paying gigs already.
Right.
It's not helping actual.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
We should talk about that and talk about how, because I wanted to get to this with you anyhow, because I'm anxious to see how you feel about this. The problem with running a venue in clipping the wings of the scene, like when I get a show and someone approaches me for a show, I instantly have to think about, okay, is it quote worth it? So I'm thinking, and because I have to, in the current market, in the current business vacuum, first thing, is it worth? Are we going to get bodies out for this? And that's the first thing I go to. So I can't give that band that might be really good and might have potential, I can't give them a shot, and I can't give them the fair shot that they need. And that goes on everywhere, man. So I got to worry about what Spirit's doing. I got to worry about what Thunderbird's doing. I got to worry about, Howlers even. What are they doing? What are they having on that night? Where have you played? So getting a show, Gooskies, I mean, God bless Gooskies, man. Getting a show is a lot harder now, I think, than what it used to be.
Getting like a successful show?
Just getting a show, period.
I mean, if you're a band, booking a show.
Band trying to get a show, right? There's what I have to get into to say yes to a local band trying to get a show. First thing I do is like, okay, will you take a Thursday or a Sunday night? From doing your event at Brillo, what your party is nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You get 200 plus through the door.
Yeah.
From a dollars and cents standpoint, you get 200 people having a crazy ass time, boozing. You're happy at the end of the night. I'm happy at the end of the night. Perfect.
Yeah.
You have a rock and roll show. If I get 60 people to a rock and roll show, they buy a beer, turn around and stare at the band for 45 minutes, right? Switch, go get a beer, another 45 minutes. It's a different business. So now I'm so heavy on dance parties because I have 32 employees and I have a $75,000 a month operating expense.
Wow.
At Brillo.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy?
That's fucking
That's
nuts.
everything. That's liquor, that's beer, that's food. But $75,000 a month is what it takes to run that thing.
That's fucking nuts.
Yes. It's fucking crazy.
If you would have asked me to guess how much it cost a month to run that place, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have said
that's
anything.
Everything. That's the employees.
But there's so much
heating,
about what you do.
Right.
Like there's so much in that place.
Yeah. And and the hardest thing is to for people to understand all that money going in the register ain't going in my pocket. It just dissipates.
Yeah.
Every other.
No, I mean, I want to make it clear. I love brillobox.
Well, thank you.
I've loved that place for a long time before I even started doing my space night there. The environment is fucking killer. The food's always been fucking awesome.
Thank you.
It's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
I think playing there is awesome. In a band, hosting events there is great. The room is tight. Everything about that place is great. And I'm glad that it's been open for as long as it has been because it's a fucking awesome place. And
it is a struggle to keep it open, man.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest, and this is real talk. I mean, about once every couple months, I have like the light pops on, and and we're real talk here. After this past summer, I was at the beach with two of my buddies camping. Three of my buddies, I'm sorry. And my wife calls me and is like, I just talked to the accountant and we are in huge trouble. And this is after the kitchen experiment was a huge red flag. At the time, I knew it. And the accountant's like, they're giving us 3 to 6 weeks to be open before we close.
Wow.
And I had to come back and I let go, I think 5 people, and which really sucked. And that's when I started in the kitchen and I started working. I wasn't paying myself at all for 2 months. And just to get the business financially right, went back to doing what Brillo did right, and just simple food, reasonably priced, good food. And it's taken a while, but we sat down with a broker and we're ready to sell. And we were filled out the papers and we were getting ready for a walkthrough, and we're sitting at a table much like this, and it's my wife and I and three of the brokers are sitting.
3 suits.
3 suits.
Yeah.
Nice people though.
Cool.
But my wife's got a floral business on the side, so she has security. And these 3 people obviously want me to sell my bar. So they're not humanitarians. They're business people too, right?
Sure.
So they're looking at me thinking,
they don't give a fuck about your emotional dilemma,
right,
and your personal attachments.
So I'm looking, in about 3/4, I was ready to do it. I honestly was. I'm like, fuck it, get out. I'll find something else. And I'm realizing, well, not that my wife is ever against anything. She's super supportive of anything, but she's done with Brillo. She's got bigger fish to fry. So she's just like, get done. I'm worried about your mental health, blah, blah, blah. And these 3 are trying to make a buck. And I'm like, I'm the only fucking one that's losing here. I got to find a fucking job now.
Yeah.
At 48 years old, that's been, doing nothing but running a bar for 15 years. I'm the one who's fucking sweating. So we left that meeting and I said to my wife, I'm like, I will turn this fucking thing around and I'm going to do it. And I've, knock on wood, it's been good. And, it didn't take long to get it healthy again. That was the good thing. But man, oh day. Yeah, I think about selling it. So all the rumors that everybody has heard, like Lou wants to sell Brillo. Yeah, I have wanted to sell it 9,000 times, but I won't. So yeah, I'm stuck.
Fair enough.
Right. So yeah.
So did we get into you said you wanted to get into something with me about a thing, but
we're just talking about basically, how hard it is to grow the music scene when you have venues watching their bottom line.
Yeah.
Right. And hopefully with local shows, you don't have to deal with promoters. But
most of the bands that I know in the city that are doing really well right now are promoting their own shows.
Yes.
And it's just a matter of, fuck a promoter, find out who runs the spot and talk with them and try out some things. If your events don't work out, then humbly bow out.
Yeah.
And whatever. But if you can build a relationship with the people that run the bar, that's the best way to do it.
I deal with John Roman now, who approaches me with shows. I deal with Spinda sometimes when he has something. Basically anyone I have a history with, I have an ear for. Like, hey Lou, I have this show. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. That's I feel like that honor system and like, hey, I have something works.
It's like you have the space, so it's there, and
Right.
you could probably have shows there every night if you wanted to, but if you're doing like back scratching shows and things like that where it's just wasting everybody's time, it's like it's easier just to keep the doors closed.
Oh,
but it's good to have the
financially.
It's good to have the availability though, if like somebody that you know and kind of trust, we'll say,
totally
hit you up with something and it's just like, hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I think it's like being transparent with people and just being honest with people. Like, hey, like I have a band from out of town, my friends. It's like I think that maybe we can get like 30 people to show up.
That's
like,
enough for me.
Is your spot like,
Totally.
could we do this at your spot?
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
That's
it's going to be, fucking Wednesday night. It's not going to be a huge crowd, but some people will come out.
Yeah.
Just let people know instead of like, oh, we have 4,000 followers on Instagram and all of these things,
Or we did this show. We did this show over at, over at Venue X and
all of the negative things pushed aside.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to open up a venue.
Okay. Yeah.
What was a positive thing that you would tell me?
A positive thing is you'll meet a lot of fucking really awesome people. You will.
Yeah.
And I am blessed for the friendships that I have made through that place. I've lost a few, which I regret, but I mean, for whatever reason, I'm sure Spirit has the same thing. I'm sure, there's this imaginary cloud, if you will, that like it used to be, people would say, fuck brillobox. But like brillobox is really nothing. It's a fucking room that serves food and drinks. We don't have any like ideals of like, let's go out and fuck these people over tonight. Or, there's no evilness. It's just what it is. It's kind of made by the people. I don't have anything to do with that.
Sure.
So, if you were starting a venue, man, I mean, I would tell you to play the small game rather than try to play a big game.
Sure.
Right? It's just the expenses and heat and AC. My God, these bigger venues like Thunderbird, when they opened up, I was like, how in the fuck are they going to pay to heat that fucking place? Right? And the Roxy Inn and fucking, the first thing I thought was, holy shit. Like, why would you have a room that size? Even Spirit, I mean, but like, man, on a Tuesday night, when you got 8 people sitting at the bar and you got to have the heat on and you're paying all these fucking employees and you're bleeding money, it's a lot easier to do it in a little room than it is with a big room. So I would start small. Would I ever do another venue again? Probably not. We had talked about taking the operation.
What about, I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
But you finish your thought and then I'll follow up with my question.
No, we were thinking about perhaps opening another spot, not a Brillo box, just a small in Ligonier a couple years ago. And we're just going to try to do just good food, good beer, basic, kind of something different that was going on in that area at that time. I had lived there for a while. It's cool. But it's so much different. We could have bought this place, this huge place with a liquor license and fucking giant bar for $120,000, which I could probably sell my liquor license for that much in the city. But we backed out of it. Long story short, but we weren't going to do another venue. We were just going.
Yeah, my question was gonna be like,
Yes.
if you were to open up another place and you could eliminate one of the three elements, bar, restaurant, venue, what would be the first one you cut out?
Yeah, I think this is going to be it for me for for bars, restaurants, and I think Brillo is going to be my my
of those
thing.
three. What do you think is like the most like
Right.
money bleeding?
Right. Now, if we're doing like events, like your event, and Union and Slappers and Bangers, like these big parties that you guys have that I
Host. Yeah.
I'd cut out the fucking food.
Sure.
I would. Food sucks. I mean, there's no money to be made in a kitchen. All these restaurants popping up, I mean, they're all struggling.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. I'm struggling. I know they're struggling. Fuck, I'm struggling, and I have people coming, and I'm busy. It's, phew. None of it makes sense. The alcohol, the food,
it's wild. Like even thinking about like my day job, I work at a record label and distributor, and whenever like we are buying records for distribution, it's like we're buying pieces for $11 to wholesale them for 14.
Right.
So it's like,
there you go.
All this rigmarole for $3.
$3. And how far does that $3 have to go?
Yeah.
That's not going into Brian's pocket.
No.
Right?
Fuck no.
That's not going straight
And
there.
I imagine that's the same thing with like the food, like always needing to be stocked up on shit. It's
$75,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
So like I got to make 7501 before I start making money. And if I make money.
Yeah, fuck,
and
man.
there's not many months. I mean, I don't mind. I like talking about this part of the business because people are under the assumption that people that do this and choose this life are rich, and they are not. Like Brillo made money, I think, 3 years ago. Every other year it's lost money. Every single year. Last year I think we lost 15 grand. Which is good. It's actually good when everything's said and done. If that's what you lose, that ain't bad, but it's I just bought a job. That's all I did. I didn't buy anything. I bought a job, and my poor wife, I must have apologized to her 9 million times. I'm so sorry I got you into this. I'm so sorry I got you into this. But I couldn't do it without her also. So
totally.
yeah.
Yeah. Understood.
Wow. It's wild.
Well, we've hit our hour, my friend. So we're probably going to wrap this up. Oh, yeah. We hit it.
Fuck,
I know the camera only says 19 minutes. It resets every 30.
Oh, that's all
But
right.
we're an hour 4 over here.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
All right.
So
Well, that was great.
We've hit our hour. I could bullshit with you
too.
forever.
Right.
We'll do it again sometime.
You tell me.
How about that?
I'll be here.
That'd be tight.
I'll fucking be here, and I'll be on time too.
Yeah. But
I
until
promise.
it's all good, man.
Yeah.
Trust me, if I feel like if I didn't have the patience to deal with somebody maybe being a few minutes late every now and then, I wouldn't have a podcast anymore.
Yeah.
In the same way, if you weren't patient to some degree, you wouldn't have brillobox anymore.
you have the perfect demeanor to be doing this. I'm really impressed. You do awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
man.
that.
I appreciate it too.
Well, it's been a pleasure as we cheers the last little bit of our beers.
That's it.
And it's awesome to chat with you. It's cool to get a little bit of backstory,
Absolutely.
get some insight on
Right on.
owning a business,
Yeah.
I'm not just kissing your ass because you're
No,
sitting here, but
thank you.
legitimately one of my favorite places in the
Thank you,
city.
man. That means a lot.
I love doing MySpace night there. I would love to do more there if the stars ever aligned, but it's an awesome place. I love just being there. Like I said, I went in on Friday night, just hung out, getting drinks and food, had a good
Awesome.
time.
Good.
I love that spot. Any chance I get to be there. So
You let me know, and we'll align the stars.
yeah, we'll chat once the camera stops rolling.
Awesome.
But until then, that is all, folks. Thanks so much for
Thank you,
listening.
guys.
One more time, Lou.
Brian,
thank you for being
man.
here. Thanks for all that you do.
Thank
if
you,
you
man.
haven't been to Brillobox, go get some food.
Please
go to a
go
show.
fast.
Come to MySpace night. Do
Yes.
a thing. Come
Yeah.
hang out or check out another event.
Right.
But until then, I'll be back again in a couple days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the Beat 2020 or 2020, however you want to say it. Whoop, whoop. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
That's it. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
You got it.
That was great.